Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Why is my video not working? Where am I? Why am I not there? It did this yesterday for some reason. It just decided, don't fancy seeing you today. Let me just do that and that. Turn it off, turn it on. I don't know why it does that. Anyway, I'm back. Morning, all. Morning, Ismet, Mumo, Soul Trader, Paul, FTNet, Virginia, Evil. How are we doing? Friday. Finally, Friday. We've had all the news this week. We've got retail sales for the US dollar this afternoon. Apart from that, not a lot else. So should be a interesting day because we had all of Trump's new announcements last night about trade tariffs. So shook the market up yet again. US dollar collapsed yesterday on Trump's announcements. So basically, I don't know what he thinks he's doing, but he's certainly not helping the dollar, is he? Let's tax the crap out of everything that comes into the US, so everything for the US citizens is way more expensive than it was before I got here. Anyway, so that was really yesterday's upshot. We'll go through the news from yesterday. GDP for the pound came out as a positive, which is great. So if you look at the pound pairs yesterday, we had a nice positive move on the pound. Nice move up across all of those yesterday. Not dramatic, but good enough. All going in the right direction. CPI for the Swiss came out as forecast. We had a lot of movement on the Swiss franc over the last couple of days anyway. But obviously, as you can see, everything came down against the Swiss franc yesterday. So market deemed it as positive. It had been selling into the Swiss. So obviously, that's a nice move for the Swiss franc yesterday. That may well continue today, but we'll see. Obviously, with the pound, it was good news for the Swiss and good news for the pound at the same time. So they kind of cancel each other out. Yesterday's main news with the PPIs for the US dollar and the unemployment claims is pretty neutral across the board. So if you look at what happened yesterday to the US, not a great deal. It's a bit difficult to tell with that. Euro is probably the easiest to see. So we had a little bit of negative movement on the US, and then obviously Trump came out and announced all of his new trade tariffs. So yeah, again, market is paying attention to news. Obviously, it is important. We do need to know what's going on with the producer price index and the consumer price index and everything else. But at the end of the day, right now, this is the only thing that matters, because all of this stuff is reliant on this. The way that news works is you have major news, which is the GDP, the CPI, the interest rates, unemployment rates, all those sorts of things. And they are all fed by other smaller parts of news, unemployment claims and all sorts of other things, and PPI feeds into CPI, all that sort of stuff. So you've got your major news events and you've got your minor news events, which feed those. At the moment, basically, all of this is being fed by Trump, and he is encapsulating the lot. So any decision made by Trump will affect every single one of these in the future. So what's happening with these and what the forecast is for any of these is completely unreliable at the moment, because if he decides to change the entire way the economy of the US works, which is what he's doing effectively with all these trade tariffs, all of these numbers are going to be different to what the banks and institutions and the Fed have forecast moving forward. So it's all about Trump, basically, at the moment. What he says is going to move the dollar and move the stock markets up and down. It's also going to have a massive impact on all other currencies. Euro, he announced yesterday, 2.5% trade tariffs on, potentially, might do. You know, it's all very woolly at the minute, and until something is actually introduced. And in hard, like this is now happening, hard facts, which is what we saw with the Canadian dollar, obviously, with that movement on the CAD, where he basically, destroyed the CAD overnight. And then changed his mind the next day. This is what moves the market now. And until he says something, the market's going to sit around and go, I don't know what to do. So it's just going to go into rotation. So mean reversion's great when it's like this, but equally, he could send everything off in a spiral at any point. Now we've got him basically ignoring everybody in the world and saying, I'm going to sort Ukraine out, screw the lot of you. We're not interested in anybody else's opinion, including Ukraine's. What the hell's going to happen there? So there's a lot going on at the minute. So markets basically are moving at random. They always move at random, we know that, but they're more random than normal at the moment. So we'll see what happens, but anything can be undone within 24 hours at the moment. So it's one of those instances where you need to keep your eyes peeled on what you've got in profit, and bank it basically when it's there, because it will appear and it will disappear as fast as it gets. As fast as it's green, it turns red. Pound US dollar is actually a really good example. Let me just switch this over to something I don't trade, like gold, because I've got a sell order appearing on my chart. So yeah, pound US dollar is a great example. This trade is in $245 of drawdown at the moment. On Tuesday, I think it was, that was in $200 of profit. Yeah, I didn't bank it. It's on the Zone Trader account. I didn't bank it because it was getting close to target and everything was going swimmingly well. But it's one of those things where it will just undo itself. So I was short. We're in a load of profit. That was the original short there. In a nice load of profit there. It was looking like it was all going to come down here. Trump opens his mouth. Yeah, it's one of those things where you've just got to, at the moment, with anything US dollar wise, jump on it, get it in the bank. So I think what I'm going to do at the moment is just every Friday I'm going to look at the dash and any US dollar related exposure that I've got on that is available. I'm just going to take it. And in fact, to be honest, it's worth just banking anything green really on Fridays and just get rid of it. Stick it in the bank so you can spend it, because it can vanish in seconds at the minute with Mr. Trump involved. So we'll see what happens today. So today's news obviously is very light on the ground. We've got core retail sales this afternoon. Overnight news, not a lot overnight from Bank of Japan. Nothing particularly exciting came out there from anybody. I won't be meeting Putin in Saudi Arabia, Trump said last night, very, very late. We're going to make some wonderful trade deals for India. Yeah, I think you might find they've got you on their radar, Mr. Trump, because BRICS is challenging the US dollar, and they are the I in BRICS, India. So be careful. I'm sure he knows what he's doing. Trump repeats his threat to BRICS of a 100% tariff. So we're going to do some wonderful trades with India, unless they set up BRICS and challenge the dollar, in which case we're going to tax the crap out of them and double everything we import. How's that going to affect your market in the UK, in the US, and all the people that buy everything from India in the US? Clothes, for example, they're all going to double in price. This is just nuts. Everything he's doing at the moment is nuts. Everybody else can see it, and I don't know why, but he doesn't seem to be able to see his potentially destroying the US economy here with what he's doing. But anyway, he's obviously got some master plan in the background. He hasn't told anybody yet. I do not want US Steel to make a deal with Japan. So it's basically every single day there's something coming out which is going to upset some market somewhere and drive everything nuts. Expecting a lot of countries' tariffs to stay the same. I don't expect any exemptions or waivers. Reciprocal plan by April the 2nd. So anybody that fights back is going to get fought back twice as hard. Tariffs on autos coming soon. So basically, that is going to massively affect Europe, largest and China, obviously, the largest car manufacturers. So BMW, Mercedes, pretty much every car brand on the planet, German. If you're going to put taxes on that, every single German car in the US up in price. That's not going to help. And that's also going to drive the DAX stocks down, because if there's less cars being sold, obviously less economy in Germany. Germany is more than 50% of the DAX, of the European economy, and also is obviously driving the DAX. So be careful with your stock indices in the DAX. Interest rates are going to be going down. No, they're not. The Fed came out literally last week and said no. So he's basically disagreeing, and if the Fed continues to disagree with him, he'll just kick out Powell and put someone else in charge. So this is what we have to deal with at the moment. I'm not going to go through everything because literally it's all nonsense. Until it's done, it's just waffle. Yeah, it's going to move the market up and down. And we covered this in the member streams. Every time you see a move on Trump, short it because it's not going to happen most of the time. Yeah, this one's a perfect example, isn't it? Yeah. Holy crap, what do you mean you're going to do that? No, you know you're not, because you can't do that. Because if you'd thought about it, Mr. Trump, and said that you're going to put all these 25% tariffs on everything that comes in from Canada, you would realise that all the manufacturing in your entire country that uses wood has now got 25% extra costs involved. You can't do that, can you? Because you're destroying your economy. Oh, well, I won't do that then. So short everything that pops and buy everything that drops as soon as he opens his mouth. US dollar CAD, weekly range just hit. There we go, perfect. So Canadian dollar dropping. So the weekly range hit, just gone in there. But it is Friday, so, but we'll wait and see what happens. This is all because of Trump, basically. So all these US dollar moves down very, very easily could be all the way back up here at the moment. There's an awful lot of hot air, an awful lot of confusion in the markets at the minute. New Zealand dollar Swiss is your only ADR today. ADR hit to the upside there. That's actually not an ADR. Look at the size of that broker candle. Yeah, that's 50% of the average daily range in one candle. Ignore that. It's not an ADR. RSIs, we had quite a few extensions yesterday. I'll go through the RSI strategy in a minute. But that one has got a couple of trades on now. US dollar CAD is extended on the hourly. There we go. So there's an opportunity for a US dollar CAD long. At the moment, we're nicely embedded down there. We've been embedded all morning. Didn't quite get down there yesterday, but there's an opportunity potentially building for a long on the US dollar CAD there. Swaps are good, so definitely one we can take. US dollar CAD is also extended on the 4-hour RSI, so big extension down there again, looking for a mean reversion. And the pound US dollar is your other 4-hour extension to the upside. Obviously, this is all US dollar related. Yeah, so looking for undoings of these moves. This is what happens at the moment. Well, so what happens all the time, but more so while Trump's in charge. Morning, Mark. Morning, Peter. Morning, Barry. He's using tariffs as a tax take. He's using tariffs for all sorts of things. He also mentioned yesterday that any country that uses VAT, he is going to view VAT as a tariff. So basically, anybody that taxes anything in their own country, he's deeming as a tariff on the US. So he will combat anybody that uses VAT. Everybody uses VAT. It's just, when you look at everything he says and everything he does and everything he's thinking about right now, it's ludicrous. It's basically the way the world has operated for the last few hundred years. He doesn't like it anymore, and he's going to change it all. It's not going to happen. And if it does start to happen, we're in big trouble. So we'll wait and see what happens. But who knows? The man's a lunatic. Afternoon, JC. Morning, even. Right, let's have a look at the indices this morning. Holy crap. FTSE's not happy this morning, is it? It's a hell of an opening range. Okay, so big, fast drop and break on the FTSE this morning. Oh, what a shame I couldn't get on the pre-market. What was the pre-market? 62. Oh, God. Okay, if you're taking the pre-market today, you just got 4R in 10 minutes. But yeah, the pre-market range was very tight today, but that thing just broke pre-market and has not looked back. So 5-minute ORB short on that. Triggered long on the pre-market. Triggered long on the 5-minute ORB on the DAX as well. DAX out all-time highs yesterday again. Not looking back, this DAX. Mind you, if they put tariffs on the motor industry, yeah, we'll see. But anyway, in a minute, DAX is making new all-time highs every day at the moment. Things off. So, yeah, tricky. Been a tricky week this week for the indices. Not very profitable at all this week at the moment, but we'll see what happens today. We'll come back to those in a bit. The other variations of the ORB that I've got running, really annoying yesterday. We looked in the members streams at the breaks yesterday, made $2,000 yesterday morning, and ended up in a negative because all the US breaks were chop fests. So the strategy gave the entire lot back. I'm going to be working on this more. I'm still not happy with this variation on the strategy. I'm going to build this out in MT5 rather than MT4 so that I can do multi-currency or multi-index testing at the same time, because I think with this strategy it's a scalping strategy and you need to be watching your P&L. That should never be a negative yesterday. That was $2,000 up. That shouldn't have taken any trades yesterday afternoon. And that's something that you have to manually intervene with, obviously deciding whether or not to trade. EAs can't manually intervene. So I'm going to try and build this out in MT5 a little differently, so that I can test all indices at the same time and let it decide whether or not, put some restrictions in place to do parameter permutation tests on profit levels that are created intraday to stop it taking some of these trades, because there's absolutely no reason to give all that money back yesterday. Well, it didn't. I mean, it's only a 2% loss. It's not the end of the world. It's still up 45%, but was up more yesterday. You know, there's no point in giving this cash back. So I'm going to do a little bit more work on this. This variation. Clean breaking shorts on the FTSE 15-minute ORB there. Right. Let's have a look at the Zone Trader account and everything else. So on the RSI mean reversion, yesterday banked 0.5%. At the moment, got 2 trades running now. We've got the Euro New Zealand running, which was an RSI extension to the upside. So that was your entry on H1 RSI yesterday. Nice area of balance that we've come in and retested. It's come straight off the highs. So that's quite a nice short. So yeah, see how we go with that one, but got short entry on that one yesterday. And US dollar Swiss also in as well, long. No, I'm not. Hang on. I mean, short. Where's US dollar Swiss gone? Over there. Yeah. So in yeah, sorry, long on US dollar Swiss. So again, RSI extension to the downside and looking for that push back up from where we are at the moment. 2 good really supports coming up on that as well. So those are the RSI extensions that I got into yesterday. Trend strategies banked quite a lot as well. Again, this is all in development, this strategy, but did 3% yesterday. It's up 16% since I started the account. So doing very, very well. Up 16% overall, which is nice. But that again needs a little bit more testing and forward testing and tweaking, which I will do. And Zone Trader, we'll go through all the zones this morning. Morning, did I say morning, JC? Can't remember. So yeah, yesterday banked 0.72, banked 0.25% this morning. Actually, it was last night. I banked last night Aussie dollar, US dollar. This one here. So I got out of this last night. We basically were here. So we basically hit target literally kind of at midnight-ish, really, at the swap last night. So out of that one and flipped short on that. So that's all that was banked overnight, really, on this one. So up 2.78 on the last, why have I got 6 days there? Should really be 5 in the last 5 days. Should look at that, shouldn't I? So yeah, so up 3% and on the last couple of weeks, basically up 2% this week. Got 3% of drawdown sitting on at the moment. So we'll go through all the zones, have a look at where everything is and adjust as necessary. So at the minute, Aussie dollar CAD longs on. Nothing exciting going on with that really. It's just looking to come back up and sort of test somewhere up here really. Not really interested in that spike. So this is kind of the main price action that drove away. We've also got these highs here, which I'm keeping an eye on. We've got an opportunity to hit those obviously today with the US news potentially. Next entry is going to go on at the lows, but obviously, as you can see, for the last 2 weeks or week and a half, we haven't gone anywhere. So not doing an awful lot. If looking at ORB V2, maybe worth looking at having 2 entries. I don't really want to complicate it. It adds another. So basically, every system parameter permutation test you do, if you take 2 entries, you're doubling every single variant in the strategy. Because you are now having the possibility of taking partials, basically, which can really overcomplicate it. But could do, but it would be better just to take 50% of the size off, really. The only reason I broke it down on SIH was because I wanted 2 targets, and you can't set 2 targets with a single trade. You can do, but you can take a partial. There's another. I mean, it's just another way of doing it, but. There is already partial profit take in the ORB V2. It's got partial profits there, so we got partial profit take. So we can set that at a money target to take 50% off, which is the equivalent of taking 2 trades, but we just use 1 lot size, so it's simpler. It's just a simpler way of doing it, which is what I should have done with SIH, really. I just really overcomplicated that one. I don't know why. But yeah, we could do. Again, trailing stops is no use. We tested all of that yesterday, didn't we? Or the day on Tuesday. But partial's the same thing, yeah. Aussie dollar CAD. So longs on that one at the moment. Hasn't gone anywhere all week. Aussie dollar Swiss, got my first entry on that one yesterday. So this is the area we were looking at for an entry. We hit it. We bounced perfectly. So I need a target. And I'm putting the target there. So looking for a push out towards double top, and I will get out of that there. Won't flip short, but I will get out there. Second entry, obviously, if this one doesn't hold, it's a very, very, very difficult area. We've got this little area here, which we were buying from, which got invalidated and ignored with all this crap. But if you look at it, this area here, where they kept buying from, after the Trump nonsense, which is here, and before the Trump nonsense, we had a lot of price action around there. And then they bought that level again twice. So the last buys that went in were at the same level, roughly, as we were buying before. So that makes sense for second entry. These highs here is basically pretty much what I've bought. So in long, second entry will be down there. Exit will be up at the highs. Aussie New Zealand have shorts on, not gone anywhere this week. We've literally had 1 push up this week and we've sat around and done absolutely nothing. So yeah, can't do anything with this at the moment. We have just broken out the lows nicely. So there is a potential here for this to be a market structure break. So these lows here, which is what was holding this week from these highs, basically, your reversal alert is really awkward, but it's in here somewhere. And this is kind of a very quick retest, but that's properly a retest. So your end pattern is really there. So this is now a new market structure low. So we've got a high, low, lower high, lower low. We're looking for a lower high to go in to drive back down into this area here. So that's where my target is. It's not going anywhere very fast, so I'm not being particularly greedy with it. Aussie dollar, US dollar. First short taken yesterday, as I said, because we got out of the longs. So I need a new short. Oh, I did not want to do that. I hate that button so much. The arrange windows as non-overlapping end tiles screws your entire life up. Aussie dollar, US dollar. I've hidden it on most of my terminals. I haven't hidden it on this one. Aussie dollar, US dollar. So I need, it's right next to the zoom out button as well, which is so annoying because it's the one you go to all the time. Should use keyboard shortcuts. So yeah, second entry short I need. That is the logical area, but it's too close. So Got these highs and that low. That's pretty good. So these lows here and these highs here are support, turned resistance, flip through it a bit. So that's a zone I will be selling at because there is literally nothing else. That's it, those recent highs. So that'll be the second entry short. Target to the downside. If we're going to continue in the downtrend, I'm just going to see if we can challenge and test all these lows down here. So let's look for an exit down there somewhere. CAD Swiss didn't manage to get on this yesterday, so this was obviously the area I was targeting. We didn't get there. We fell short, so missed that. I'm going to leave that zone in place because I'm still happy to get in there if it gets there. Euro odd, got shorts on this one. It missed my second entry. Again, I couldn't find anywhere on this in here that looked logical. I should have, in hindsight, just stuck it sort of above half an ADR and just said, if we push above there, get me in on the way to this, so that I had a second and then took a third, but I didn't, and this would be in profit now, but doesn't matter. It's at break even-ish, so I'm looking for a move back down into there still. I'm still happy to take that out. In fact, what I'm going to do now is change the zone now that we've had that high put in yesterday. So if we double top at some point today, or we come and retest and try and put in a lower high, yeah, I will get in a second short, and then third will be up at the highs where I had the previous zone. Euro CAD short, not gone anywhere this week. Hell of a lot of volatility. This is a really good example of the Trump era. You know, it's just loads of movement up and down all over, but you don't go anywhere because it isn't news. It just moves around intraday. It doesn't do anything unless he says something that sticks. So just a load of volatility all over the place at the moment. We've had Lagarde talking this week as well, but yeah, so I'm still targeting shorts at that propulsion gap. And if we don't manage to get up, then we're going to come down and target and retest the lows. So everything's still in place. Euro Swiss, longs on. Didn't manage to get the second entry, unfortunately. It wicked into the zone that I thought they would buy from. They did, but obviously the candle closed well above my next entry, so I can't take a trade there. I'm already in there, so there's no point in taking one that close. So didn't manage to get a second on, unfortunately. What would have been better is if it had closed down here and then mucked about for a bit, got me an entry and then gone and done it, but it didn't. It just rejected immediately. So yeah, off into the highs to take profit. Euro pound, have shorts on. This is going absolutely nowhere. Prime candidate for shutting it because it's just not doing anything. We're sitting in this area of balance that we previously broke out of. We've just come back into the top of that area and found a new area. Not doing anything. So I'll give it to the end of the day. I mean, there's hardly any profit on it. I mean, it's just not even worth taking off. So I'm just going to leave it. There's nothing I can do with it. It's not going anywhere. Euro New Zealand shorts. So I've got 3 on this at the moment. I'm looking basically for a quick exit down there. What's the profit on this at the minute? This is a drawdown control candidate for taking that off and just working on one of these two. I'll leave it for the minute. And we'll see what happens with the US this afternoon. But yeah, so this is the highs, which obviously was the previous area of rejection. So that's where I took that short, which has worked out beautifully. So one or two things is happening. We're either running up for a test of those highs, in which case that'll be my 4th short, or we're going to hold this range, in which case we're going to come down and test somewhere around these lows. So I'm going to get out somewhere in here, basically. Just want to see how much profit I've got on that. Euro New Zealand. So Yeah, it should be able to get at least 0.5% out of that. So we'll see what happens to that today. Euro US dollar, obviously second entry on, third entry going in at the highs. So this is a tricky one today. So this little area here, actually let me just turn the SRP indicator on. Oops, wrong one. So we're sitting bang in the middle of this propulsion gap at the moment, which they resold from last time. We hit this level again and we tried to sell it. They've been overpowered now because the Trump's killed the US. So this propulsion gap is going to fill today. It doesn't look to me like this is going to hold. So it's logical that we're going to come and retest these highs. So what I've done is I've put the zone basically in this entire section where we've got all these highs, because I'm not sure exactly where we're going to get a reaction from. I mean, if it just taps into here and literally comes straight out again, I'm happy with that. And then it can do that if it wants to. It's not an issue. I just don't know really exactly where this is going to go. So I was going to put them right on those highs to try and get a nice equal sort of spacing on the trades, but I'm not going to bother. I want just another entry on this as soon as I can, because I want to build some size on this, because the next time he opens his mouth and says something that rallies the US dollar, we're going to be back down here again. And it's going to be a nice profitable trade. So I want to get some size on it, really. Target for me is down at these lows at the moment. So at the moment, market structure obviously is shifting long, but we're potentially going to form a range. This is Trump. So this isn't real price action. So this is where we were trading. And what we've tried to do is price discovery to the downside. And now Trump's obviously destroyed the market again. So yeah, nice looking short going in at the highs there. Average price is obviously going to jump up, which gives me an exit in here as well, which is nice and profitable. I mean, that would still be nice and profitable, but it'll be even more profitable. So I'm going to wait for Trump today, and I'm going to wait for the news this afternoon and just see where I get the entry on this one. Assuming I do, I mean, it might just flip-flop around up here and then collapse down, which is all equally fine. It'd just be more profitable if it pushed up today. Pound odd, looking for an entry long. Haven't managed to get an entry on it yet. Got out of the last lot. Just waiting to re-enter. Pound CAD have longs on at the moment, so this one is on its way to target. This area down here we tested and just missed my entry. Unfortunately, they tested that propulsion gap and rebought it. I was looking for them to test kind of this area here. Didn't manage to get there, unfortunately, so I'd be out of this probably now at these highs. So this area here would have been my upside target, which it reacted at yesterday, but I didn't manage to get that trade on. If I'd have got that trade on, the average would be down here and I'd be exiting there. So I'd have been out of it yesterday, but unfortunately I didn't get that trade on at the lows. So this is still my target to the upside. I'm looking for them to come and retest this propulsion gap today. If the US dollar weakens for any reason today, the Canadian dollar will likely weaken with it, which means we'll hit that very, very easily. There is a good chance that we're going to come up and test this propulsion gap. So the zone that I've got drawn here is drawn intentionally to encompass the propulsion gap, the highs, and also this area here, which is the start of that propulsion gap retest. Yeah, so somewhere in there, I'm looking if we can push up into it strongly. Any kind of bearish price action is my exit, basically. That's the idea behind the exit there. Pound Swiss, looking for a long, didn't manage to get on yesterday. So just going to move the zone up a little bit. We've now got these highs here. Those three, which is the area that we're rebuying. So resistance, turn support. So if we come and retest that, we're going to hold that range, which is this area here. So see if I can get in now down there, if we can come back down again today. Third entry on pound US dollar, new entry needed. That's too close. So I'm going to go for this area here. So this area here, we've got a propulsion gap. Let's just turn, I need to turn the propulsion gap indicator on all the charts. It's just a little bit more messy, that's all. But did I not turn that on? Not gone back far enough, have I? Still not gone back far enough. There we go. So this propulsion gap here is still untested. Yeah, it's not untested. I mean, they have obviously resold it multiple times. However, this is where we're heading to now. So this is the logical area, the low of this propulsion gap for an additional sell. It's too close to my previous order, so I can't take this. So the next area above there is here, which is again the same level. Look, this is the same as that. Yeah. So again, it's too close, can't get in. So my next logical area on this one is coming all the way back up into where they resold the propulsion move, and the origin of the propulsion move is there. So I'm going to encompass basically the propulsion move, which is here. So that's where the news or the whatever started that move started from, which broke that low, and then they retested that low. So I'm encompassing that area there and the start of the move. So looking for them to come and test one of those two things. Yeah, we'll basically see if we can get our next entry there. So next entry is going to be somewhere around here. But we'll wait and see what happens with that one. It could obviously just today, Trump could turn around and go, do you know what? We're not going to put tariffs on everybody because we love everyone and I want the economy to grow in the US and you all to become richer. Who knows? Anything can happen, can't it, at the moment? He could decide he's going to invade Gaza for some reason or invade Egypt, or I don't know. You just don't know, do you, what he's going to do? Did you also notice yesterday he had that meeting with the Indian Prime Minister, or whoever it is in India that's leading? I don't know if it's a Prime Minister or a President. I don't really pay much attention to Indian politics or anything because it just doesn't really involve us over here. But did you notice who was hanging off his coattails when he was walking around with the Indian Premier or whatever it is? Elon Musk. He's literally in his back pocket. He's going everywhere with him. He's like dropped his entire life, Musk, to become the right-hand man of Trump. He's basically going to be the next president, isn't he? So we've also got Trump and Elon both involved in being able to say things at the moment. So far, Elon's been very, very quiet, but I'm not sure that's going to be the same. So we've got two massive talking heads that could shift the market at the minute. Anyway, New Zealand dollar CAD. I just thought it was interesting that Elon's gone from being a tech entrepreneur to a space explorer to the right-hand man of the President of the United States, all within kind of 5 years. It's busy, isn't he? If I was him, I'd be sitting on a billionaire's yacht in the middle of the Pacific having a cocktail. But anyway, that's just me. Longs looking for an exit up at those highs. This area of support, which is previous resistance. Yeah, which is previous propulsion gap, which is looking to be my exit. Next entry long is going to be down at the lows if I need it. Got two on, so there's only two trades on it. So we'll see where we go today. New Zealand dollar Swiss, I'm long. That's going nicely up to target. So looking to get out of those highs. That's a pretty strong resistance we're coming up to. These two peaks obviously are the extremities, but this is the main sell zone. There's an argument for extending the zone down on this. Mind you, that's also a very, very good resistance. So if you look at this little level here, which was the previous support. support, 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 accumulation, break, resistance, resistance, resistance. That level there, resistance. Yeah. So this whole area here is the flip zone where the support resistance is holding. What I don't want to do is see this completely vanish, all this profit, just because I'm going for a specific point. So that area obviously makes sense, but that area also makes sense, and we're very, very, very close to it. So I'm going to draw the zone. What's the profit on this? New Zealand Swiss. It's only 0.2 profit. Not a lot. I've just adjusted my lot sizing actually, because mind you, that's a 0.12. How much is that in distance then? 43. What's the ADR on this? $45. So that's an ADR. Blimey. It's not a lot of money, is it? Yeah, so it's about 0.25% basically in profit. It's just because it's the reason it's not very profitable is because it's just a single on it. Haven't managed to build any size. So I'm going to leave the zone down at those highs. If we get a nice big strong move into there and then a candle that just goes small, we're going to get out there. If it decides to blow through that zone for some reason, just go really bullish, great, we'll get out somewhere up here. But if it just literally taps that and comes away from it, I kind of want to be out of the trade, because I think there's a good chance this area is going to hold and it's just going to come back down. Because really, if you look at it over the last 4 weeks, what have we done? Nothing. We're ranging. So I don't want to watch the profit just vanish. I'll just get into it again at another point down there. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, second entry looking to get on. First entry went in last week. I was looking for it to come back down into target. Didn't make it. And so we're just sort of flip-flopping around. Should have really taken some profit off of it and flipped long. But the problem with this one is I couldn't see any area really that made sense to go long because of this. So I decided to see if I could get a runner. I was actually anticipating the US dollar powering up, not weakening with Trump, but he's done the opposite. So I will be taking a second entry short up at those highs. And then I will probably move my target there. So average will come up and then I'll target these highs here. US dollar CAD have 3 longs on now. Need another long. So this is the area I was looking to hold, this accumulation break. It's a very old area, as I said, because we've been sitting in accumulation for pretty much the entire month of December. This is December. Actually, this is December started here, but we had that little rally and then we sat around all December, all January, then we had Trump, and now we're coming back down again. So this is a really old area, and I said, this is all I can really see on the chart that we might react at, but it's such an old area. We have reacted at it, but not very strongly. So I need a new long opportunity down here. We've got this high here, which they have reacted at, which could be the next zone. So I'm going to stick it there and see if we get a reaction. There's this little low and that there. So just watching this area here where we've had some interest in price action. Again, it's not a great zone, but it's a zone, and it's more than half an ADR from previous ones. So it's a good area to watch. I'm going to move the target down as well because we're going to take, we've taken 3 now. So I'm just going to go for this propulsion gap. Yeah, so closest propulsion gap as an exit. Get 3 trades on, trade's wrong. So we'll see if we can get there. US dollar Swiss, just missed my next buy this morning. Literally missed it by less than a pip. So I was looking for a buyout of this area here. Yeah, so that's where we started to break. We didn't quite get to retest it. It looks like it's coming back down again though this morning. So looking for an entry again somewhere in here. Exit target. Just going to move the exit down to these highs for the moment. If this gets triggered today, obviously average is going to come down, and I will move target down here in case that becomes resistance to the upside. There we go. So there's all your zones covered. So I'll watch this today. I'll bank something else today. I've banked 0.25, but if I can stick another 0.25% in the bank today, it's worth it. There we go. There's your zones. Pound US dollar's off, look. Right, let's have a quick look at the indices. So, nice clean break long on the DAX this morning. We're still going. And FTSE is still clean break short, but not really any momentum. We haven't even got to 1R on the DAX, and we have just about got to 1R on the FTSE. So there's no volume today. It's very whippy. Not an awful lot happening. There we go. Bit of a non-event in a minute, isn't it? Market's a bit weird this month. It's Trump. It's very weird. There's not been very many entries with RSI. So, I mean, everything's doing okay. It's just nothing's doing really well, is it? It's just all okay. Good ORBs this month. January was phenomenal. February's been pretty good as well, but you know, not as phenomenal as it was. We don't know what he's going to do, and I'm not sure he knows until he wakes up. No, he doesn't know what he's doing. He does know what he's doing. This is the thing with Trump. He knows there's always some little master plan somewhere, isn't there? That's why he's got to where he's got to, because he's a manipulative little expert in business. But there's obviously a plan, yeah. But it's his execution. He's one of those people that says things before he thinks about it. Yeah, he just opens his mouth and goes for it, and then he's like, maybe I should have done that a slightly different way. And everyone else is around him going, really? Yeah. So how are we going to dig ourselves out of this one, Mr. Trump? Yeah. So he's got a plan, I'm sure. I'm just not sure. Last time he was in, we hadn't had COVID. Obviously, we remember he was around when COVID was there because he was telling everybody to inject bleach into themselves to cure COVID. Yeah. Prime example of opening the mouth before engaging the brain. We've had the fallout, the economic fallout from COVID since he was last in power. And I'm not sure he really has grasped the economic output that is, or the economic situation that is going on at the moment. I get what he's trying to do, but I don't think the way he's trying to do it by taxing the crap out of every other country is the way forward, especially when your country and economy and your currency is being threatened by bigger countries, China and India predominantly, yeah, and obviously Russia, but from less so of an economic standpoint, more of a military standpoint. But from an economic standpoint, China and India, biggest manufacturers on the planet of everything that the world consumes, yeah, starting their own currency. Threatening is not the way forward. Saying what you said yesterday, if BRICS kicks off, we're going to stick 100% tariffs on everything. If BRICS kicks off and you stick 100% tariffs on everything, you are shutting down all manufacturing import to the US. You're dead. You're dead. You can't buy anything. What happens when you need electronic components from China? You're not going to have them. Can you manufacture them in the US? No, because you can't get the minerals, because the minerals are over in New Zealand. New Zealand, BRICS partner. Not a partner, but they are next door to the BRICS countries. Who do you think is going to control all of that? You know, bigger picture is not being thought out here, is it? This is what I think is going on. And I think a lot of other people around him are seeing the bigger picture, and he's wanting to be big and beat his chest. But everyone else around him is going, every time he opens his mouth, we need a plan, guys, to undo it. And that's exactly what happened last time. Yeah. Especially with the Fed. You had someone come out and say something literally a day after he said something. Someone from the Fed would come out and say, what he meant was, spin it quick because it's wrong. But anyway, but it's great for the markets from a volatility point of view, as traders, the only thing that we can use to make money is movement. Yeah, the market goes up and down and moves through time. If it only moves through time and doesn't go up and down, we cannot make money. So when he's doing this, it's brilliant because it gives us the opportunity to do that, or it gives us the opportunity to get on that. Yeah, that's what we want. We want things moving fast to targets or fast back the other way. And boy, is he good at that. So, you know, you've got to give him his dues. He's good at moving the market. And his whole plan, you never know, his whole plan might be to get everybody he knows, including his family, to buy and sell stocks and currencies. And he will basically wait and see what their positioning is and then move them. And then wait till they've all sold everything and go, I'll move it back now. That might be his plan. Insider trading on a world perspective. Who knows? I missed your comments on the ORB. Did I hear you say you've pushed go live back? There was never a go live, Mumo. I don't know where you got that idea from. This is a strategy in development. Development can take anything up to 2,000 years. There's no time. It's ready when it's ready. It's not ready. I'm going to rebuild it in MT5 so I can multi-currency test it. Yeah, I mean, it works as it, you know, if you've been in the member streams, which I don't think you have because you're not a member, but obviously you haven't been in the member streams, so you haven't seen all the testing and the permutation testing and all the data that we've got on the ORB strategies. But I've got 1,700 variations of 5, 10, 15-minute ORB breaks that are all profitable. I can give you one right now that works. You've got one right now that works. It's called the ORBEA. You've got the SIHEA. They both work. This is another variation on the opening range. You know, this is the thing with trading. There's no, again, I keep saying, I sound like a broken record and I hate the way I keep saying the same thing, but there is nothing else in trading. It's the same thing. You do the same thing every day. It's a binary market. It goes up and it goes down. There's 1,000 ways to make money today on this. You can sell this right now here and make money, or you can buy this right now here and make money. It will go up or down. Yeah. With the opening range here, that candle, yeah, there's 1,000 ways to make money out of that. You can either buy the high of it, in which case then you'd be long here, well done, or you could buy the high of it, it will stop you out, and you could be stopped out here, 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 or here, or you can have your stop all the way down here and hedge yourself in a position and wait for the market to go to one of the targets. I can give you 1,000 different permutations of that exact strategy, and they will all make money, but you don't know which one today is the one to use. What I'm looking for is something that is robust on multiple time frames, that is more dynamic than just saying go long here and go short here. I want to measure and get data on all different sizes, every permutation you can do basically. And the testing that I've got is already very thorough because I've got the opening range breakout strategy and the SAH strategy, which, you know, makes money. Yeah, it works as it is, but there's always a different way and a better way to do something. Not always a better way, that's the wrong word, because there's a different way to do something. So I can release an EA that has 1,000 variations in it, but all everybody's going to say is what's the best one to use, and I don't want to do that. I want to release an EA that does something, and you are not going to change any settings in it. This is it, that's it. If you don't like it, don't buy it, or don't use it, you know, or don't create your own. You create your own. It's not hard. Well, it is hard, but it depends how your programming skills are. But you know, but what I want to do is I want to create something that is not looking at basically taking a strategy. I'm looking at something that's going to make consistent profit as often as possible. What this does at the moment, and I've seen it do multiple times, is make a beautiful amount of money and then give it all back, because it overtrades. So what I'm trying to do with this variation of the strategy is build in a non-overtrading system, if you like. So I want it to take the 5-minute ORB at the optimal. And if the optimal's not there, we will skip the 5-minute and we will look at the 10-minute. And I want to know what the optimal 10-minute is. And then I will take that. And if that doesn't work, I want to take the 15. What's the optimal thing to do at the 15? If that isn't right, then I want to take the 30. If one of those works today on the DAX and the FTSE in the morning, and I've made 2 grand in profit, I don't want to take the NASDAQ. Even if the NASDAQ could be a whacking great move that makes you an absolute fortune, sometimes it won't be. And it's about banking money. And you see this with prop traders all the time. They make money and they give it all back in the same day. So they'll push their accounts up by 1,000. They'll go, oh, this is the day. And then they'll take another trade and they'll drop 500. That makes them cross. They take another trade at 500 and they drop down to break even. That really makes them cross. It's emotion. EAs take the emotion out of trading. They are literally told to do something, which is make money. And that's the problem with all, not the ORB strategy. That is the problem with all trading in general, but specifically low time frame trading, because you are trading algorithmic chop. There is no logic to the patterns. The patterns are there at specific times of day, but they are different every day. So all you have is a risk that you can wrap around price action. The risk is very simple. You always give yourself a higher reward than your risk, but it's not about getting the trade right, because which trade to take today, you didn't know. If you took the 5-minute today, well done. If you took the pre-market 15 today, well done, if you were targeting 2R. If you took the 5-minute or the 10 or the 15-minute ORB today, well done, you're in profit at the moment. But where should your stop loss be now? There is an optimum, but today, is it there, or there? You know, there's a million variations. So with the ORB strategy and the SIH strategy, you have all the inputs to test every variation you could possibly think of. But who does that? Yeah, the reason I build my products like this is so that you can have complete control over them. And then all I get is, which one's the best one to use? I don't know. What's tomorrow? What's the weather going to be tomorrow? What should I wear tomorrow? Yeah, you can forecast stuff and go back and look in history, but it doesn't help you with the future, does it? Because you can't see it. Today, on this, the best thing to take was the 5-minute ORB. We're on it. Job done. The worst thing to take today on this was possibly the 5-minute ORB. The best thing to take today was the 30-minute pre-market range, because you are now sitting at 5 or 6R on that. If you'd have known that, you'd have taken it. But my data tells me that that is a really bad thing to do. The long-term edge on that is negative. So we don't do it. See what I mean? It's impossible. And, you know, I'm not trying to build a new version of the ORB. I'm calling it ORB version 2 because I've already got ORB version 1 and it works. But I want to build something that's more clever, more dynamic, more AI-y, if you like. I mean, AI is not going to have anything to do with it, but I want something that kind of mimics what a human being would do a lot more, in the fact that it's not an idiot. Yeah, like yesterday. Yesterday was the kind of the pinnacle moment for me. I sat in the members room, in the members stream yesterday morning. We were looking at it and we were like, look at it, beautiful. It's got back all of yesterday's loss and all of the previous day's loss in one morning, trading 2 instruments. How good is this? And then I watched this throughout the entire day, give the whole lot back and make a negative. Idiot. It's an idiot. That's what I'm trying to iron out. The idiot factor. It's basically a dumb instrument that has code that says, if this is that, do that, else do the other. But it doesn't at any point think, that's my mortgage. And that's what it needs to do. So it's got built into it a targeting system where, not in the portfolio dashboard, it hasn't, a targeting system where we can set daily targets for profit and loss. But this isn't useful on an individual instrument if you were to only run it on an individual instrument. It's utterly useless, which is why it's set at ridiculous levels, if you're trading a portfolio approach. So what I need to do is build this in MT5 so that I can say, in one test at 8 o'clock, take the optimal breaks on the DAX and the FTSE, if they exist, and then see what the outcome of that is. Then make a decision this afternoon on what we should do based on what we've made this morning. Have we made 1,000? Yes. Is that what we want? Not quite. I wanted 2,000. Okay, then let's this afternoon only trade one US instrument, because what we don't want to do is give the whole 1,000 back. So let's risk 300 on the afternoon break on just the NASDAQ, because that has the highest strike rate, and hope that works. If it doesn't work out, we're going to take a $300 loss and we'll walk away with 700 today. Not trade the S&P, the NAS, and the Dow, all three breaks, and get whipsawed on all of them because we've got news coming out at 3 o'clock and the market just goes sideways for half an hour. And what we end up giving back is 1,700 and making a $700 loss, because it's stupid. So I need it to be able to test more intelligently, because the edge is there on every instrument. Every variation of this strategy that I test, every instrument that I test it on, it makes profit. Overall, though, it could make 10 times the profit if it had a human being in charge of it. And that's what I do. Yeah, I sat there yesterday watching this thing. And yesterday I made decisions on the SIH as well. Look, FTSE yesterday, I got it completely wrong. Yeah. Was it yesterday? Or was it the day? No, it was Wednesday afternoon, actually, on the Dow. No, it was Wednesday afternoon on something. Maybe it was a NASDAQ. Yeah, Wednesday afternoon on the NASDAQ. Look, I was in the live room. If you're in here, I took it off. Yeah, we took the 5 minute or whatever ORB it was, and I said, this looks like it's going short. I'm taking that off and I'm banking it because it gave me a profit. So I ended up on the two instruments in the afternoon with a profit. And I was like, brilliant. Well done, me. Bang. That's 5R. I gave away a $700 day and I took a $150 day because I made a decision. But at that time, that decision was the correct decision to make because I was protecting profits from the morning. If that had done that, I would have lost all the morning's profits. As it happened, it went up there. But that decision-making process on either banking money and coming out with a profitable day or not is the bit that is missing from all strategies. Unfortunately, the only way to test it is in MT5 because you can't do multi-currency testing in MT4 at the same time. So I want to test all 5 instruments at the same time. So I'm going to have to rebuild for MT5 to do that testing, because I think that is the more important thing to do. Things like the Trade Manager Dash here, they can be built to do this, and you can do this, here very easily. Look, I mean, I'm sitting here now on the DAX and the FTSE, right? I can bank right now 0.67%. I can hit this button and this button right now and walk away with 0.64. Neither of them are particularly doing well today, are they? But as a group together, they've generated 0.6% profit. This is the bit that's missing, is the portfolio approach to intraday scalping, and that's what I want to test. Because there's edges. The edges are all there, but as a whole, individually, when you put them together, that's just not as good as doing it all at once in one day. And as I say, MT5 is unfortunately the only way to do it, which is annoying, but so yeah, so there's no real, there's no go live. You've got the live strategy. It's not a new strategy. I didn't invent it. It's been around for decades. The ORB strategy. Tony Crabell invented it a long time ago. It's just it's about getting the variations of it right. And like I say, full automation is what everybody wants, and it's ideally what I'd love as well, to sit on a beach, drink a Mai Tai, and not do anything. But realistically, it's not going to happen. But if you can make it as clever as it can possibly be so that it can identify these situations and go, you know what, you told me you wanted 0.6% a day, we've got it. Take it. Or, do you know what, you said you wanted 0.6 a day, move everything to break even and see if we can get some more. So worst case scenario, we don't lose this money, we just break even it, but only because the two of them together combined are roughly somewhere close to where you want to be. Yeah, and these are the permutation tests that I cannot run in MT4, unfortunately. I've been thinking about this for quite a while because since I've been developing this dash as well. It's obviously I'm seeing so much available money and opportunity. This heat map is a real eye opener. Seeing the opportunities you've got to bank and do drawdown control at the same time. It's just going to be phenomenal for position traders. But it also opens up the view of heat mapping. This is the next thing that I'm going to be building in, so that this also becomes a heat map, your total profit on the entire symbol. So you can see there's profit available there of 0.2% in total. So I could close that and close something else out like that, which has got 3 trades on. So I could remove all of that risk, 0.4 lots there, by using that and that banked together to create profit and remove a trade that's wrong, just like that. And again, portfolio approach is the way that everybody that makes money in this market does it, and that's what's missing from the opening range breakout strategy at the moment, the portfolio view, if you like. So, but yeah, so that's the plan anyway. But the version we've got here is great. This is working beautifully. Today we're on our way to making more money again. What's the profit today if we hit target? 700 today. So that will get back a couple of days worth of loss, roughly, if it hits target. But there's only a single trade on today. So this still works. But you can do all of this with the ORBEA already. Yeah. It's just a lot more complicated, the ORBEA. And again, I just want to simplify it just so it's easier for people to use, because the problem with my stuff, as you probably know, is I make it too bloody complicated all the time. Morning, Franco. You are zoned. Good. Franco is zoned. It's always good being zoned. We've got a lot of trades on at the moment, which is good. A lot of risk. A lot of risk makes a lot of money. A little bit overexposed on the US. So just for the plans for the next update, I want to heat map this so that we can see percentage gains on total symbols as well as individual trades. I'm going to put into place a heat map for this, which I haven't quite decided how I'm going to do it yet. I think I'm going to go with lot size. So what I might do is use a calculation. You can't quite see, can you? Because it's off the chart. I might use a calculation on your average lot size here. And that as a percentage of your average lot size. So if this net exposure exceeds 50% of your total lots, we want to highlight that, because it means you've got an awful lot of exposure on an individual instrument. Again, it's just another way of looking at exposure, but in a more logical way, because it's all to do with size, obviously. However, sizing is different on every instrument. So I'm just looking at ways of heat mapping this. There's a lot of ways to do it. I might just put a standard, you input one lot, and if it's over one lot, it goes a color sort of thing. But I think it would be better if we did it a little bit more dynamically so that it's a little bit more intelligent. So I'm working on that. So heat mapping that, having your last closed trades listed as well, which I'll probably put up here next to it. Well, you can put it where you like because you can move it around, but I would probably put it up there. And there's a couple of other bits and pieces I want to do for quick hiding. So introduce some of these buttons here, maybe, so that we can quick hide these with buttons rather than having to use the inputs. So there's a few quality of life improvements that I want to make to it as well, which are on the plan. And for the MT5 version, absolute pain in the arse. The way that MT5's GUI works, for any of you that know anything about coding, It's totally different. I've tried to convert this yesterday into MT5. The buffering system doesn't work. There's so much that doesn't work. It's basically start from line 1. Because converting this into MT5 code is an absolute mess, because there is so much different logic in C# and C++, which is what the languages are basically for these two. One's OOP orientated, one isn't. It's just different. So I'm really struggling to do a simple conversion, which I do with most of my EAs and indicators, because this is a visual display product and the graphical user interface is the main interface, which is different in MT5. So I've decided I'm going to work solely on MT4 for the foreseeable, and then when I've got it to a point where I've got everything I want in it, because there's a few, like I said, bits I want extra, and other people have mentioned they want extra, then I will go with a full conversion for MT5, but it's very difficult at the minute. What is the minimum capital needed to start with so that you can trade calmly? I don't know. I don't know how you are. How would you answer that question? What is the minimum capital? What is the maximum capital that you can afford to lose? I'll turn it back on you, because you'll probably lose it. This is trading. 90% of traders lose 90% of their capital in 90 days. What can you afford to lose? Calmly. Yeah. There's no one on the planet that can answer that question for you. I don't know how calm you are, how angry you get when a trade goes against you. I know nothing about you. There's no one can answer how much capital you need to start calmly trading. Unless I've misunderstood the question, but what would, or let's put it the other way, right? So how much money do you want to earn a month? Yeah, whatever that amount of money is, multiply it by 10. That's the starting capital that you need. Yeah, that's the easiest calculation to do. Yeah, so if you want to make $2,000 a month, yeah, trading, your starting capital needs to be $20,000. Calm, to be calm. If you want to be aggressive, start with $2,000 to make $2,000. Try and double it. It's doable. Yeah, but you won't be calm doing it. You'll be crapping yourself. Every time a trade goes against you, you'll be crapping yourself. Every time you're in drawdown, you'll be crapping yourself. Every time you have a stop loss, you'll be crapping yourself. If you don't want to crap yourself, you should be able to press the buy or sell button at any point on any instrument and go, I couldn't give a monkeys if I go on holiday for 3 weeks and come back. That will not hurt me. That is what calm trading is about. Yeah. There's absolutely nothing in my portfolio at the moment here that is scaring me at all. The very worst thing I've got on at the moment is 0.4 lot exposure on the pound US dollar in 1.25% of drawdown. Oh, and I got US dollar CAD at 1.3. Couldn't give a monkeys. What's the worst thing that can happen? It drives 3 ADR against me today and goes into something like 2.5 to 3% of drawdown. I just shut it. Totally calm. Hard question, isn't it? When you think about what you've asked, it's not something that is easy to answer. If you want to start a business trading and become a full-time trader, you're going to need a minimum of 10% capital, 10 times your target capital that you want to make per month. Plus, you're also going to need 3 months worth of money in the bank to pay the mortgage. We've done a session on this in the member streams. Yeah. So let's say, for example, you need to make 3K a month to pay your bills. You're going to need 30K to trade with. You're going to need 9K in the bank. So you're going to need 39K to start. Because if in month 1 you have a negative month, and you will have many negative months, you can't pay the mortgage. So you're going to have to use some of that 9K to pay off all your bills. If month 2 gets you back to break even because you've had a good month, you still can't pay the mortgage. So you're going to need to use another 3 grand of that 9 grand to pay the mortgage. Hopefully month 3 will be profitable, so you'll have a profitable quarter, in which case then you've got a 3k buffer, and now you can use that to withdraw and pay the mortgage. Yeah, that's the real world of trading. The gurus with the gold teeth and the chains around their necks that go on and tell you that they can quadruple an account every month aren't doing that because it's not physically possible to do consistently. But that's what you're buying into, is the guys that have got these sitting everywhere. Yeah, that's who they really are. We don't like them, so we kill them. Anyway, so yeah, that's the realistic answer. Probably not what you want to hear. It's not what anybody wants to hear, is it? But that's the truth. Right, I'll leave it there today. I'll be back on Monday. If anybody's got anything they want to discuss, let me know. There you go. There's a good example here. This account has been running for 3 weeks. It's up 45%. But there's a high probability it will blow at some point. But you can double an account. Yeah, if you want to double your money, it's doable. Just use the opening range breakout strategy and basically bracket the first 5-minute candle and go long or short and use 10% of your account every time it does that. It will do it enough for you to double an account if the market is volatile. If the market is flat, you will just lose the whole lot. Yeah. I don't know whether the market's going to be volatile or flat tomorrow, the day after, or the day after that. Nobody does. So you're basically, the future is what is making you profit, and whether or not it fits your strategy that you decided to trade. Nothing to do with strategy. Good morning, Tralala. You're late. We're just finishing. So yeah, I'll be back on Monday. Anything you need, let me know. Be aware this afternoon we've obviously got the retail sales coming out. Trump's not scheduled to speak today, but he probably will. Yeah, be aware. Obviously, we've got the Trump factor. It is also Friday. Tend to unwind positions on Fridays a lot, so there's potentially a lot of movement in the market today, so keep your eyes peeled. Obviously just grab profit when you see it. I'll be watching these today and just to see if there's anything worth taking. I'm trying to get this account to do 0.5% a day ideally, so I'd like to bank some more today if I can. 2.5% a week, spot on. So yeah, we'll see where we go, but potential volatility ahead this afternoon, so just be aware of that. All right, anything you need, let me know. I will be working on stuff, so I'll be back on Monday and I will see you then. Have a good weekend.